Welcome back, everybody. We're on the free to play account. We are joined by the one, the only Mr. Burrito Slayers. Get round of applause. Round
Yeah,
of
yeah.
applause. Oh, how goes your raid journey before we even get into this craziness?
It's going pretty well. I took a break after the Archer event,
Mm,
after getting so far and trying hard and not getting Archer. I lost to a Kraken. I decided to take a break from raid, and I took a good solid like 8 hour break from raid,
hmm
and so it's pretty good so far.
Yeah,
It's
I
going
mean,
pretty well.
having a break in raid is always feels good as long as you're still grinding clan boss and whatnot. Doing
Don't
that.
burn out.
Don't burn
Don't burn
out.
out.
Which is why I only have 2 accounts now. I
Yeah.
cannot. I don't know how people run 3+, but let's not go into that. First,
Yeah.
before we continue, as you guys know, we're gonna have a special double rock paper scissors. Are you guys ready?
hmm
Me and Burrito Slayer challenge everyone in
hmm
chat to rock paper scissors. All right, and if we beat you, you got to subscribe to me or
There you go.
Burrito Slayer. All right, Burrito Slayer, get your rock paper scissor hand ready if you don't mind.
Okay.
All right.
Actually, I'm left-handed.
That's fine. That's fine. All right, ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, we both threw scissors. What are the odds? What are the odds?
Well, I'd say like, you know, a decent odds. There's
30,
only 3 choices. So,
33.3%, something like that. All right, let's
something
get
like that.
into the fusion. I actually want to talk about a couple things. I want to get into the fusion, why he's good. I want to get into the
Mhm,
epics that you can get for the fusion in case you don't get the fusion. Are they worth it? Are they food? And then I want to go
mhm.
over a little bit about the calendar because the calendar has some crazy stuff coming up that I was not expecting, but it is the 5th anniversary, of course.
Yeah, yeah, let's
All
go.
right. So let's just go straight to the big guy, Armands with his. Is he a bard? Is that what's going on here with his little? Okay.
He seems like a wizard, bard slash Captain Jack Sparrow,
Yeah.
fortune teller,
Yeah.
so
All right.
slash pirate.
So we're gonna start. His aura is crazy. 28% speed in arena battles is a lot.
Yeah,
That's a lot of
so
speed. So that's
that's like
already pretty good.
20%.
Yeah, 28.
Yeah,
It's like 28% exactly. All
yeah,
right. So I'm just gonna go through his kit. We'll talk about it from my free to
yeah.
play newbie eyes, and then from his more veteran eyes. So the A1 attacks one person. 35% chance of increasing the cooldown of a random active skill by 2 turns. That goes up to 55%. And then you fill this champion's turn meter by 10% for each turn added to the cooldown. That's so if you oh wow, so pretty much an extra 20% on your turn meter if it hits, right? That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. All right, let's go to his A2. Attacks all enemies, steals all turn meter of each target. That already seems kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's a pretty bonkers skill in and of itself.
On a
Even
three
just that
turn
alone.
on a 3 turn
Yeah,
cooldown. Like that first sentence is just insane. That's pretty much not only is it not your turn, it's all of our turns. Like my whole
yeah.
team's gonna go again.
The
Wow.
entire team, your entire squad is just getting their turns taken.
Yeah, that's
And
crazy.
then
And you also place a stun debuff for 1 turn on all enemies that aren't sheeped.
yep.
So that's 2 turn. You're pretty much stealing their turn and then stealing
Mhm.
another turn if you hit if you hit the stun on everyone.
Yeah.
That's on a 3 turn cooldown. Seems kind of crazy.
Yeah. I'd say like the only way to probably counter that is if you just have a high resist team.
Yeah, true. So wow, that's this ability alone I think makes his champion insane. But let's just see.
Yeah.
So we also have a place a sheep debuff on an enemy for 1 turn. Buff cannot be blocked. That's pretty crazy. Then
Mhm.
you have a 75% chance of removing all buffs from all enemies, and then fill this champion's turn meter by 5% for each buff removed. That is a so pretty much if you're running Taurus, that's that pretty much just nullifies him, right? You sheep him, you steal every buff from everyone else, you get more turn meter. The very next turn after the sheep, you can steal their turn meter again. This is insane control. Am I missing something? This is 4 turn
No.
cooldown, and this goes up to 100% chance to remove all buffs.
Yeah, so I don't remember the discussion that I had with some of the other people. but we were talking about whether or not he is able to place the sheep through block debuffs and the um, the stone skin. And we came to the conclusion that the wording is different and that you can place block buffs
Hmm.
and he won't be able to sheep you. Or you could do stone skin, and if he wins the 50-50, then he could, but if he doesn't win the 50-50, then he wouldn't. The other thing is you could have high resist as well. Obviously you could just have high resist,
Yeah.
and that's the only thing. But the wording here, I don't know if it changed or if I misread it the first time. It
Yeah.
says this debuff cannot
Cannot
be
be
blocked.
blocked. So I would assume block debuff should not block this. That's how I read it.
Yeah. Yeah, did they just change that? I thought
I don't know.
because
First time reading it, and
when he
this.
first came out, we went over it
Oh,
on uh
Gavin's right.
on my stream. We had a bunch
Oh,
of people, and we all talked about it, and we were like, yeah, no, it's different than now. I have to see Sun Wukong's thing, but I mean, go ahead. It's gonna bother me, but I'll keep. You can continue.
we'll keep Burrito Slayer hopefully from going crazy. But I'm just gonna say,
Yeah.
reading it just from what I see until like it's actually played and tested and all those good things. For me,
Hmm.
this looks like it cannot be blocked. So block debuffs, and even then, let's just say that the sheep buff does get blocked. You still have 100% chance, obviously depending on accuracy, et cetera, to steal all buffs anyway. So even if you don't land the sheep, you're still stealing all of the the buffs, and you're getting turn meter per buff,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is,
No, it's insane.
I mean, 5%. Let's just say on average, let's say I think every champion, all four have 3 buffs.
Hmm.
That's what, 15, 30, 60% turn meter from this one move,
Yeah.
and you're
Up in
taking all the
the
buffs.
exactly in the
That's
higher arena, you're gonna have a lot more buffs because a
right.
lot of people set up heavy, so easily 5+ buffs.
Yeah, I mean, and if you think
Mm,
about it,
at
say
the
they
moment.
if they have 5+ buffs, you're pretty much, you use this to place a sheep, right? Say the sheep doesn't
Mhm.
work, you steal all their buffs, you pretty much get a free turn. You just pop into your A2, attack all enemies, hit the stun or not, but then you steal all their turn meter anyway. Like
Yeah,
this,
it's a bonkers skill.
oh my gosh! Like these two abilities are just insane, just in general. But let's see what the A3 is doing. Okay. This looks okay. Whenever a sheep debuff is removed or expires on an enemy, increase the cooldown of a random active still on that enemy to its max.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's terrible.
That's
That's that's
that's
disrespectful.
that's crazy. And you have to remember, with this happening, right? Fill this champion's, oh, it's the next sentence. Fill this champion's turn meter by 10% for each turn added to the cooldown. That could be, let's say, a normal cooldown, 4 turns. That's
Mhm.
40% turn meter right there. That's, wow. This champion seems like like is going to be the meta in arena. Like I think it's going to be really
Yeah.
hard to set up a let's buff a Taurus, have him one shot everything type of thing. This guy is just going to shit in your Cheerios, for lack of better terms.
Yeah, unless you have a really fast team to counteract that, or just
Yeah.
a high resist team.
I mean, but even with
But
the 28% speed on top of that, like this guy is insane. Insane.
yeah, no, he's definitely gonna be moving fast. Like when I build him, he's going to be fast.
I mean, he already
And
had
yeah,
103 base speed is pretty good too.
yeah.
So,
So he's gonna be up there for sure. A
yeah.
lot of crowd control, a lot of mechanics
Yeah, a lot of
to
time.
really mess up somebody's
Yeah.
setups.
Super god tier for turn meter.
Hmm.
I mean, insane. Like literally just going from your A3, right? Say you get a free turn here, boom. You get another free turn here. That's literally stopping you. Like if this was live arena, imagine you go into live arena.
Yeah.
He goes for the
No.
sheep, and you're like, oh, right, he missed the sheep, but he steals all the buffs. He gets a turn.
You.
Then he attacks all enemies, steals all your turn meter. That's another turn. And let's say he lands the stuns. That's 3 full turns that you won't get to play the game. And by then, your team's probably mostly gone.
Yeah, because most fights only last like 2 rounds,
Mm-hmm.
2 rounds, pretty much 2 3 rounds, unless you're looking for a dragged out fight. But I don't really waste time with dragged out fights anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's insane.
Yeah.
I've been hearing some complaints about him just because it's like they're adding another sheep champion. So people were saying like Polarium's response to sheep is introducing more sheep.
Well, yeah.
So
I
I
mean,
mean,
because now if everyone has a sheep, then who cares?
yeah.
Right.
Me personally, I don't mind it being on a skill. I
Hmm.
just think that blessings kind of make it an issue. But
Yeah.
personally, on a skill, I don't think I mind.
I I mean, I'm pretty new, somewhat new to the game,
Yeah,
and like
somewhat.
this wouldn't really, for me personally, on my free to play, would be
Hmm.
great for arena, but outside of arena, which is not something I'm really focusing on, like I'm not worried about hitting high gold right now or trying to go to plat or anything. This
Yeah.
guy would be insane, and if I could get him, I would try. Just and on top of the other wards you get along the way, but this wouldn't be game changing for my account. However, if you are obviously in gold, pushing plat or something, this guy could be insane for sure.
Well, maybe not early on for you. I
Right.
think right now, especially if you're not focused in PvP, but eventually, if you play long enough, you end up running out of things to do, so you
Yeah.
end up going to PvP.
Yeah.
And plus, there's a lot of things that you get from PvP,
Mm-hmm.
arena, live arena tokens, buffs,
Yep.
and you're probably going to want to go ahead and grab those.
Well,
So
yeah.
it's good to have him now because you might want to have him just to have him later. You never know.
Yeah. I agree. All right. I do want to check out. So I believe it was it Emic?
Emic?
The Emic, sorry, Emic. Emic,
Hmm.
his voids that went into him were actually really good. I believe they were the bomb. I forgot their name, but I just curious to see if this champion is any good. Sometimes the actual champions you fuse are actually pretty good, and sometimes they're worth keeping if you can't do the whole thing. But we'll see.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna start
This
with
guy,
the
he just looks insane. I gotta
I.
give
This
props.
shield looks
Yeah.
amazing. This shield is insane. I love it.
Yeah.
Got the bandages, the mummy bandages. Look, you got the little like it's cursed. You got the writings on it.
Yep.
It's like a little tomb. Like that is just super sick. I think this character looks amazing. All right. So I'm going to go into the passive first.
Yeah.
Decreases the damage of all allies received by 10%. Seems pretty good. This champion will receive that damage instead. Now, I don't know the rest of his kit, but that could be an extra 30 to 40% damage on this champion. Obviously, he's probably going to be a defense champion, I assume, or HP, but that alone doesn't seem
Yeah.
anything crazy. What are your thoughts?
I think that it would be good, especially early on, if you're looking to keep
Mm-hmm.
your team alive. So somebody like, for example, when you get higher up or um, care eventually about PvP, you'll run into champions like Ursaga,
Mm-hmm.
who is really good at mitigating damage for your entire team, making it hard to, for example, one shot a Duchess,
Right.
because Ursaga will take some of that damage. So like early on, this champion seems like he would be receiving or taking. It's kind of like ally protect, a
Yeah.
built-in ally protect.
I mean, yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
So there's that.
All right. Well, let's just see the rest of the kit. Maybe he has some
Hmm.
synergy. We'll go with his
Yeah.
A1. Has a 50% chance of transferring one random debuff from this champion to the target. That could be pretty good. It goes up
Hmm.
to 70%. It's a pretty
Yeah.
good chance. Nothing crazy. Pretty good skill. Defense base is what I assumed. And let's go to A2. Attacks all enemies. Before attacking, removes one random debuff from all allies. Damage increases by 5% for each debuff removed. So that would be. And also heals his champion, or heals each ally by 10% of this champion's max HP if a debuff was removed. This seems like a really
Yeah.
good skill. I actually think this
Before
is pretty good.
attacking, it removes one random debuff. Damage increases by 5% for each damage removed. Heals each ally by 10% of this champion's max HP if a debuff was removed from them. Yeah. So you're
Yeah.
doing healing, you're removing debuffs.
Yeah. I mean, that just seems like a really good support skill anywhere, especially Dragon or Clan
Hmm.
Boss with all the poisons that get dropped. You're removing them, you're doing more damage, and you're healing on top of that. And this goes down to a 3-turn cooldown, which is
Yeah,
pretty good.
it's interesting. It's interesting, and you definitely want to build. Oh, he's got a
Uh,
killable and taunt.
so he has an unkillable and taunt also. So place an unkillable buff on this champion for 1 turn and a taunt buff on them for 2 turns. So, and this is a
Huh.
4-turn cooldown. So this seems Honestly, this champion seems better than I thought. This seems like a very big. It seems like a what's the
Unkillable.
word? Like a worse UDK is what I'm thinking of. Like a like a budget UDK almost.
Yeah,
Just
he's definitely not going to be. Uh, I don't think he's close to UDK, but I
yeah,
can see the
right.
comparison.
Yeah,
Like you said, he's a worse UDK.
yeah. Like a far worse. Like obviously UDK is goaded, but I mean
Yeah.
having the unkillable, having the taunt's really good, having the heal and
Hmm.
debuff removal is really really good, and 10% less damage from all allies is also really good. You're taking extra damage, you're healing all your people, you're removing the debuffs. You got to taunt to keep them from being targeted as well. I think this champion's pretty solid. Nothing game changing, but I think it could help some accounts.
On a 4-turn cooldown,
Hmm.
that might. I'm not sure,
Hmm.
but I think there's some team compositions you could definitely unlock and put together for some unkillable teams. Kind of like how Emic does, because Emic does this unkillable and taunt.
Yep.
So now I'm thinking like, okay, well, I use Emic in like Iron Twins, freaking Phantom Shogun.
Hmm.
So Kafru, the Death Keeper, could possibly have some play there.
Yeah. I guess the biggest difference is the unkillable buff is only for 1 turn. The taunt is for 2, and I believe Trunkheart has
Yeah,
unkillable on all allies for 2 turns and the taunt
yeah,
for 2 turns. So I
yeah,
mean that is a big difference. I think the unkillable just for 1 turn, but I'm sure with the champions that can increase buffs, duration, and I'm sure there's some shenanigans you can run with this champion. But
yeah.
I
Well,
think,
you can't increase unkillable.
oh well, then never
The
mind.
buff, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But I'm sure something could be put together.
yeah,
I didn't know he had that. I actually never even looked at the Epic Champion, so I didn't know.
yeah. So I
But
mean,
yeah,
I think he's pretty good. I don't think there's anything wrong with either champion. I think insane PvP like god tier, and then this guy seems really good. You can use him in a couple different places. The
yeah.
last thing, no, we don't want to buy your stuff, Polarium. The last thing I want to do, I'm going to switch to my display. So everyone say goodbye to to Burrito Slayer. I don't have it on this filter. Actually, let me bring you back. All right, here's Burrito Slayer's back, everybody. Look at that. All right. So I just want to go
Dang.
over this calendar with you and you tell me what you think. So, first thing I'm seeing is you got the big raid 5th anniversary. You got a bunch of celebrations, you get a bunch of gifts and things. The new Forge is out, which I think is 100% worth it. $20,
Yeah,
you get insane stuff.
yeah.
I think. But outside of that, I see we have a double legendary summon, and we have two of them. Two of them. Extra
Oh, two
legendary.
extra legendaries.
Two. So we have one, it looks like Friday to Saturday, and we have another one that
Hmm.
starts Saturday through Monday.
So this weekend.
So pretty much the entire weekend through Monday, you have a 2 times chance to get legendaries. And
Hmm.
in between that, Polarium's going crazy for this. I'm not gonna say Polarium's the greatest in the world, but I think this is a great idea. Right? You get the summon one, get a second Lego. On top of that, you get a
Yeah,
progressive chance as well, which is really good. I believe in your Discord you posted the champions that you could get.
yeah. I did.
So over here, I'm seeing a Dutchins, a Pythion, Mighty Uko, Elva, the Queen Ancora, Arbiter, the Mage Slayer, Raka, and Raglan. And some of those
Yeah,
are insane. Like Duchess, Pythion, Uko, like those are insane champions that can literally like change an account, in my opinion.
yeah, yeah. Definitely boost up.
And so imagine you hit your times 25 chance, you pull a Duchess, and then boom, you get another legendary right after that, which could
Yeah, but
be
you have to remember for the progressive chance that you have to actually summon
yeah,
you have to summon a Pokemon from that rarity in order
yeah.
to get that boost.
And I believe it only boosted by a certain amount until you're
Yeah.
at 25% or times 25, I think. Yep, times
Yeah.
25. So it's like
So
15, 20, 25, it looks like.
yeah,
But again, I mean, that's still pretty good. Just another, I know that this is just for Polarium to get people to spend money, but I do think that the gifts that they're giving, like I got a free Sacred Shard and some primals and some
pull it
right now.
right
You want
now.
the
Just pull it.
primal? The primal?
Pull it.
All
Just
right,
pull it.
chat. I'm gonna pull it. I'm gonna pull it.
Pull it.
Just
Pull
pull
it.
it.
Siegfried right there.
Nah.
Dude, if he pulled a Crixia, I'd be like, oh my god.
Oh, just because I love you, and we need
There you
the
go.
we need the mercy anyway.
My
This is
god, if
a free to play account. I should be saving these, but it's okay.
nah,
We believe in the
a
heart of
Crixia,
cards and the power of friendship. What are the
a
odds we pull the
Crixia,
legendary? Like my luck has
Tiffy.
been insane. So what are the odds we pull one? Let's just see what happens. Okay.
Oh
See,
man, I
see.
felt like there was a pause. I felt like there was a pause there too. I was excited.
All right, nothing crazy, but for the most part, just from a free to play standpoint, I think you should do what you can. Like obviously, getting up to 425 on Dragon isn't that difficult. I could probably easily do this.
Yeah, it's
Obviously,
easy.
this stuff doesn't matter, but 425 seems very doable on Dragon. Training 2200 seems a little harder, but again, I'm gonna be training champions anyway. So if I can get to these hit markers, then
Mhm.
I'm gonna go for it. But I'm not gonna like overly stress on getting the champion. I do think the champion's insane. I will try to get the champion, but I'm not gonna like stress myself like, oh, I have to do this. It's just if I get the champion, I get him. If I don't, I don't.
Yeah.
I do understand how late game he can help me, but I'm far away from late game. There's a lot I have to get done to get to the point where he's gonna matter as much as a different champion.
What I have to see what his multipliers are. And actually, I saw that some of the bigger CCs came out with a test server
Hmm.
content, but
Okay.
I never got around to watching it.
Okay.
But depending on his multipliers and all this, like he could probably help out in wave clearing, especially if you're a newer player
Yeah.
struggling in wave
True.
clearing. The stuns, the
Yeah.
controls,
Sheeping a certain target, like a.
sheeping.
I mean, it just reminds me
Um,
of faction wars where
yeah,
there's a
action.
PK that has
Yeah,
unkillable,
exactly.
and if you kill everyone else but her, then you're just stuck in an infinite loop unless you can steal the buffs
Hmm.
or something. But
What is
again,
a? Let me see his A2 again.
right here,
So he's based. He seems like more like a support champ. I mean, it says support right there, but
yeah,
damage based on attack. I would
yeah.
be interested to see how hard he can hit.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, but looking at his like stats, I mean, his speed's really good, but I feel like his attack is
Mhm.
really low, just base.
So
Like
yeah,
compared to the Void Epic that we just looked at, right? He's a defense champion. His defense was 950
yeah,
starting. HP was
yeah,
1300, and this is like seems very middle of the roady. But I mean, I'm
yeah,
sure that's not going to matter as much once you get good enough gear. It doesn't really matter. But I'm just
yeah.
wondering, will his multipliers reflect his base stats?
Yeah, I mean, time will tell once
Hmm.
we eventually get our hands on good old Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be getting him on the main account. I'm already
Yeah.
grinding. I'll put out a video later on that. But I mean, for the most part, that's all I have to say about it today. We're going to be doing another huge, big video on Burrito Slayer's channel, going more in depth on a veteran main account type of experience on why he's so good, why he would matter so much, and why you would want to go for them. So if you want to see that, check that out. I will leave a link down below to his channel. Show him the love, like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. But that's all I have for today, guys. So let's thank Burrito Slayer for being here and
Thank
spending
you.
some time with us.
Yeah.
And
No, thank you.
yeah, as always, guys, until next time. Senpai
Senpai
out.
out.